Well, today we're going to look at my Star Aloe. Its variety is called the Delta Rose, and I got this for $3. It was on the markdown rack. I think it was at Lowe's, and it's a really pretty aloe. This was a small one, maybe a 3-4 inch pot, but it has a really bumpy texture. It looks like I don't know, teeth along the edge. It has a star shape, just like the most aloes do. It grows in a rosette, and it was marked down to $3. Comes from Altman plants. Kind of gives you a mixture of orange, white, and green. And I am supposing it hadn't been in very strong light because it was more green when I first bought it. Those first pictures when it was more green was about a month ago, and now being under more light, it's turned more of its orange or maybe that dawn color where it gets its name. It does need a lot of light to keep that color, and since I have it in my basement garden shop, that coolness down there, it stays at about an even 63 degrees down in the plant room. I think it keeps those little raised bumps in their pretty peachy and orange color. You can see all those little teeth along the margins. I think it's a really attractive plant. Now this one, like all succulents, is going to want to be in a well-draining soil that's very porous, that the water can run through real easily. Let it dry out really, really well, almost to be bone dry, and then water it thoroughly. Let all the water drain out the bottom, and then it's good probably here in the wintertime for another month or so, because it does not need much water. So now it's 4 years later. What am I going to do? It's starting to get winter. The nights are going to get cold. She'll die if I don't take her in. And then she makes a flower. Of course she's got to come in. Now here is my Delta Rose aloe. You can see how pretty it is. Bright red, orange, flame colored. I'm not sure what you'd call that. But it is doing real well. But we're coming to the limit here in Ohio. It's either got to come in, or it will die, or it needs a new home. And I think, based on all the effort she's gone to this year, I want to bring her in. Let me see if I can look at the pretty flower stalk. Now I have my plant pulled in here. It's the Delta Rose Star Aloe. And I'm going to pull it out of this container. Not sure what I'm going to do with those yet, but I'm going to pull it out. And I have ready just an individual pot for it. I'm using this hypertufa pot. It is all ready. Its hull is definitely free. And I did bring out my fungicide, which is basically neem oil. And I am going to treat it because I don't know what it might have on it because it's been outside in the sunlight all summer. So let's get that started. Don't know if I'll be able to save the flower, but I won't worry about the flower so much as I do the plant. I can feel it trying to come out. I hate to mess with the roots too much. Pull it from this side now. There we go. Now, there we go. Look at all that. He seems pretty good. Looks good. Okay, now, let me lay it down. And I'm going to set these to the side, and I'll decide what I'm going to do with them. And now here is this pot. I'm going to look at all these roots. Is this going to fit good? Let me look at it overall. Oh, I think I'm going to like it in that. We don't want this in rich soil because, of course, succulents do best in not very rich. So I'm going to trim off some of these roots. Just kind of give it a little haircut. The roots look real good. And I don't see anything down in here that really needs to be cleaned off. But I don't know what kind of varmints might be in there. There's a little tip right there. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. Because if anything happens to it, I want to be able to see that after it's done. Of course, we need to have something to cover the hole. Let me get my coffee filter. We just barely need a very small piece. And I'll just fold her over, stick her down in there. Now the Hypertufa, of course, light as a feather. Perfect for this, and I'll get a lot of hummus to put in there. Maybe I won't carry fresh soil, since I want it to be very, very unenriched soil. How about I just use just a bit of this around the bottom of it. And then we've got our crushed granite, our poultry grit, to make sure it has really good drainage. So I've got that, and now you sweep that up toward the sides, and then down it goes. Okay, now let me get that tiny little shovel and put some soil right down in there by the roots. Okay, he looks pretty good. Looks good from the top, right? I like it. Now, I am going to take my fungicide, which is basically a neem oil, and I am going to spray around because I just don't know what's hidden in all the nooks and crannies of the plant. And I kind of want to wet it down real well so that we won't bring anything in and won't have any problems. Now I'll probably wait about a day or two before I water it. And keep an eye on it. I'll set it on a table away from the other plants. because we don't want it to bring anything inside. But I should get several more years out of this and even more pups. But I think it looks really good. Now let me give you a long view of it, of what we can see. Look at that. Looks pretty. And the bloom has survived up to this point. Looks good. Now I think I will leave it set here in the garden shed. Since it's a warmish day today, the sun's shining. Look out there. See, the sun's shining real well. This room will be warmer than normal. So I want to just let it kind of get its transition in here. And then it'll go in isolation for about a week. Keep an eye on it. Treat it again. And I've got my Delta Rose ready. Now, she was in a lot of sun. Basically full sunlight until about 2 in the afternoon, maybe 3, when the house shaded her. So I will keep her in a sunny windowsill, as sunny as I have. I think that south window will probably do her. So we'll see how she does. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again on the next video. Bye-bye for now.